Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Ram 1500 RHO. Now, a lot of people have been asking the question, could Ram put a 5.7-liter HEMI V8 under the hood of the RHO and make some kind of affordable version of the RHO in itself? And that question actually had come up recently at an Auburn Hills press event that I attended a few weeks ago, and Tim Kuniskis actually had some very interesting information about this.
I don't know. We've debated that a lot internally. I mean, the HO and the RHO. Look, I love TRXs. I do. I drove many TRXs, and I drive an RHO now. And the RHO is a fantastic package. So if you put a 5.7 in that compared to what it is today, is that going to meet customer expectations? That's what we're thinking about right now. Not saying we won't do it, but that's what we're thinking about right now.
If you know anything about the RHO now, basically it's what everybody's saying is a detuned TRX. I had a chance to drive this truck a couple months ago. I had it for a week. I absolutely love this truck. The new RHO, I would say I probably love it just as much as the TRX. And even though they're basically the same truck, when you look at the suspension settings and everything like that, the engines are very different. Obviously, you have a supercharged HEMI V8 under the hood of the TRX, and that makes 702 horsepower, and it was just a complete beast. It had a different kind of transmission in it, an 8 HP 95, and it was a totally different animal. It was a lot of fun to drive, the TRX. It sucked the fuel down big time because you're always on it, but it was just the ultimate off-road truck. And then I think a lot of people were upset because the Hellcat was gone, and then they kind of shoved the new inline six in it. But the new inline six is no slouch. I mean, 540 horsepower, 521 pound-feet of torque in the HO version that's in the RHO. And I found it to be very fast. I did like the fact that it got better fuel economy, and it was quieter. The exhaust note kind of sucks. It kind of sounds like a BMW. Buzzsaw, or even like an older Viper. It's got a weird tone to it. It doesn't sound like, a V8 at all. But overall, it was super comfortable to drive. I really enjoyed driving the RHO. Again, if I had to pick one as basically the truck I would drive every day, I would pick the RHO hands down, no problem. But yeah, it's different. Let's put it that way. But overall, I was really impressed with how that truck was. But a lot of people are still saying, like, hey, we want a more affordable option. That we know that the TRX is more than likely coming back probably in January. We've seen internal documents saying such. But the real question is cost. I mean, if you look at what the RHO is basically what the TRX was back in 2021. Since then, we've seen basically TRXs go for over $100,000 easily. And then the final editions and stuff were going for like $115,000 to $120,000. So a lot of people just can't afford that. So the RHO will basically stick around, and then they're going to build a TRX on top of it. But some people are saying, hey, I don't want the Hurricane engine. I want a cheaper V8 powered Ram 1500. And Tim actually said some very interesting things about it. He was very open about it. He said, I don't know. He goes, we've actually debated that a lot internally. So Kuniskis is clearly aware that there's a demand for this truck, but there's potential drawbacks. I mean, if you look at the 5.7-liter HEMI V8, it's drastically lower in horsepower and torque. You got 395 horsepower compared to 540 with the inline six high output. And then you're going from 521 pound-feet of torque to 410 pound-feet of torque. So it's down on power compared to the Hurricane. And, Kuniskis basically opened up and said, hey, could it live up to the current RHO's actual performance? So he actually said, he goes, I drive an RHO now, and it's a fantastic package. And he basically said if you put a 5.7 liter in it compared to what it is today, He goes, is it going to meet customer expectations? He goes, that's what we're thinking about right now. So it's not a no that this truck would happen. It's just, you know, could they do something different? Yes. Ultimately, I would love to see the 392, the 6.4 come back. I mean, we know that it's going to probably make its return here very quickly. But, you know, I would love to see that engine finally be put into the Ram 1500. The only thing is all these engines were supposed to be replaced. They're very outdated compared to other modern V8 engines, you know, from other automakers. And, you know, if you look back at 5th Gen Rams and Mopar Insiders from years ago, this is an article that Jared Belfour, my cohort over there, wrote on February 10th of 2019. Now, at that time, we had been hearing that, you know, Stellantis, or not Stellantis at the time, but FCA was actually working on a new Gen 3 engine, basically a higher displacement, a 7-liter HEMI V8 that was supposed to basically be like a 6.4 Apache motor, a 392, basically, but with bigger displacement. And this isn't the elephant engine that we've been hearing or anything like that. This was something that was going to be naturally aspirated, basically just a Gen 3 HEMI replacement for the 6.4. And we heard that it was going to make its debut on a Ram 1500, and at the time we were calling it the TR because that's what they were calling it internally from what we've seen in documents. But did we think, you know, that could happen? And we really thought it was. We thought it was coming, and it was canceled. Jared actually wrote this article back in on February 10th of 2019, and he goes, we broke that there's 2 versions of this truck coming, and that was back in 2018 of a high-performance Ram 1500 Rebel coming out. The first of which was the Hellcat-powered TRX, which has already been announced. And then we talked about a second would be a more affordable option for a new performance 7-liter 426 cubic inch HEMI V8, codenamed Banshee. Now, basically, like we said, it was for a Rebel TR trim. However, again, we said we're so sad to report, according to our sources, that the Rebel TR project has been shelved. Instead, Ram is going full out on the 6.2-liter supercharged HEMI Hellcat version. So, you know, again, it would be cool if they came up with an affordable pickup, but I just don't know if the 5.7 would be adequate because, I mean, if you're going to replace, or not even replace, but just add a V8 engine to it, and that Hurricane 6 is such a strong motor. I mean, people complain about it all the time. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a V8. Yeah, whatever. But you know what? It is fast. It's got a lot of power for what it is. The power, you know, like if you talk about like boost leg and stuff, it's not that bad. Once you hit about 1200 RPM, man, that thing picks up really quick. So could they do something different, like bringing a 392 back? I would like to see that more, but it sounds like Tim and them are questioning, hey, maybe about bringing a 5.7 into this whole lineup. So what I'm asking you guys, and this is kind of like, again, you know, Ram watches the internet and stuff like that. Would you opt for a 5.7-liter HEMI RHO? And, you know, would you opt for that over the Hurricane, even though it's got less power? And the reason why I say this is because if you look at how Ram is doing their price structure right now, if you go and get a limited or a Longhorn model, you basically get the Hurricane high output. But if you want the HEMI, you can opt for it at no additional cost. So the thing is if this truck came to the forefront and said, hey, you know, we're going to build another version of the RHO with a 5.7 HEMI, I don't really think it would cost any different. It wouldn't be cheaper. So would you still pay the almost $70,000 for this truck if it was, you know, basically just a 5.7-liter HEMI version because of how it sounds, even though it's a lot less power than the Hurricane? Let me know in the comments below, and then tell me what you think. Would you want to see a 5.7, a Hurricane, and a Hellcat option of basically the same truck, just on power levels? To me, I think it makes sense, but I don't know, again, like I don't think it would be a real big deal with the 5.7. I think it'd be kind of like whitewash, basically. But tell me what you guys think. And make sure to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.